Sharon Black.
And Sharon, what's going on tonight? We're down here at Occupy Baltimore at Pratt and Lights Streets. So what's significant about tonight's event?
Well, tonight it's November 2nd, which is the day of the general strike in Oakland, which from every account that I can read or see the live streaming things, and I'm hearing from friends of mine in the International Longshore Workers Union, and also people from the Bail to People movement that are out in California telling me it's been tremendously successful, that people have poured out today and a show of support for Occupy Oakland, especially after the police violence. That has brought people together. So union folks and people who are unemployed, people fighting foreclosures, and the young people that have been part of Occupy Oakland are together today in major protests. In New York City right now there's a demonstration that the Bail Out the People movement called nationally that's going on there. And so some of us in Baltimore, we felt, well, we need to at least show that Baltimore supports the general strike in Oakland. I mean, general strikes historically have shown the power of working people, which is all of us, the 99%. Whether you have a job or you don't have a job, you're part of the 99%. You're part of the working class. And we can stop the bosses in their tracks when we don't work, when we come together, when we resist in the streets, whether it's in the form of an occupation or a general strike. Don't go to work. The immigrants did this on May 1st many years ago. They actually had a boycott, which was highly successful, that brought down the Sensenberger bill. And we're seeing this all around the world. In Greece, they finally forced a referendum around the issue of the austerity measures. So Oakland is showing the way, and so some of us in Baltimore who are from the union movement and from the community want to stand out here and say, we support, we salute, we are for what's happening in Oakland, Baltimore, New York City, and all across the country. And we also don't feel that even when some of these encampments, these occupations have been shut down, that it will stop the movement. The Bail Out the People movement in a day or two is going to be holding a tremendous People's Assembly at the Bronx in New York City. And we are going to launch an Occupy for Jobs movement, which means we're going to take these very tactics and spread this struggle not only in these street corners, but throughout this country, in every hall, whether it be Congress, with walks for jobs. In other words, we're going to take an opportunity to push our struggle forward for justice in this country with Occupy for Jobs, which is demanding a WPA-style jobs program for all those who are unemployed. And already support's coming in the next couple of days. It will be launched nationally, the Occupy for Jobs movement.
What exactly happened in Oakland with the police, the raid on the occupied Oakland? What exactly did they do? They were tear gassing people?
They tear gas people, they pepper sprayed people, and they also they use these rubber bullets, which can be lethal, and canisters, and they fractured a brother's skull. A guy who was, had come back from Iraq, and a lot of the veterans, they're facing joblessness and unemployment here at home, untreated health problems, and here he's out in the street protesting, and he gets hit in the head with a canister, and he had a fractured skull. I understand he's not on the critical list right now, but he's just one example. You could see the documentation, the videos of the excessive police brutality that was used on these demonstrators, which may not have been the first, because people remember Oscar Grant, who was killed by the transit police. So there's been a history of police brutality, particularly against the African American community, but also against the immigrant community in general on the West Coast. So police brutality is rampant there, just like it is in Baltimore City, New York, and across this country. So the police used absolutely excessive force, and the young man could have been killed. He's lucky he's still alive, and I think it's touched off a wave of sympathy and a wave of protest, and I think it's in some cases stop the hand of those who want to Occupy Wall Street down. Not that things aren't still happening, and Tulsa, Oklahoma, I believe they were shut down. Arrests took place in Milwaukee, Chicago, all across the country. Arrests are going on. So, it's not ended. But you know what? You can't stop a movement by repression alone. Like I said, where it gets pushed down one place, it will erupt in another place. In Washington, D.C., I was with the health workers yesterday, and I marched to McPherson Park. The original Freedom Square demonstration or occupation has expanded, and now their occupation in Washington is at 2 different parks. So,
2 different parks.
You can shut something down one place by arresting people and by sheer brutal force, but you cannot stop people when they're united. And really, Oakland is the big thing. I mean, they shut that down temporarily, but it's now re-erected, and the protesters were all marching to Oscar Grant Park. So violence by the police and by the state and by the military is a brutal and terrible thing. But the power of the people, especially when people are united and out in the street, can stop it in its tracks. And I tell you, I was overjoyed as a trade unionist, as a worker, as a mother, and as a person from Baltimore City, overjoyed with the general strike in Oakland today on November 2nd.
Thanks for bringing us up to date on that, Sharon. And your name, young lady?
Betsy Oaks.
And Betsy, what do you want to add to what Sharon Black just told?
I just want to add that it's criminal for an Iraqi veteran to be shot in the head by a police projectile when all he wants coming home from Iraq, like all the other veterans coming home from all the unjust wars in Afghanistan and in Iraq and all over the rest of the world, is just a job, and to come back to his family